Welcome back to another Launch Your Light episode. It is the beginning of the month, so you know what that means. Ineza and I are talking astrology and energy, baby. We are here for March's Astro Talk. I'm so excited. Welcome to the show, Ineza.
Hi, hello. I'm happy to discuss everything again. These are one of my favorite times when we just get together and talk about everything.
Yes,
Everything.
all the
Mostly
things,
astrology and energy, but also everything.
everything. High, low, up, down, in, out. We go there.
Yeah.
We go there. Okay, I feel like March is going to be nuts. And that's just what I'm intuiting. And I was so excited for this episode coming up. I'm like, I can't wait to hear what the stars are going to be doing. What's going to
Yeah.
be, what are the planets doing? Because I just feel like March is going to be like, boom.
Big like because so let's just get right in there. So
Let's
the
get right in.
energy is real. We might not be the same human beings when we move into next month, but this
Wow.
year is all about that. We are
Mhm.
moving and like the whole 2025. March is basically kind of a really big intro of how the energy will shift. So we have Venus enters retrograde tomorrow. Mars then we have two retrogrades, Venus Mars retrograde in Aries and Pisces. We'll talk about it. We have eclipses in Virgo and Aries in the middle of the month and the end. Then we have the biggest one. Neptune is going into Aries for the first time in 165 years.
Wow.
So we are going to talk about that's going to be a big chunk. I think we will go over the retrogrades, eclipses, um, and that's kind of like that's already a lot. Um, yeah,
How different it feels from right now as we're recording this. We're still in all this Piscean energy. Like you were just saying, like so much is in Pisces right now. So people are really kind of like, ooh, feeling it deeply, emotionally, all over the place. Like you said, no structure, very like la 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 right now, right?
yes, and we will feel it. So Sun will enter into Aries. So the first part is very Venus and Mercury is in Aries. However, Neptune is in the last degree. We have talked about this. This is a huge karmic, humanity is going through a lot of karmic reconstruction, releasing, letting go, all of that. North Node is in Pisces, Saturn is in Pisces.
Hmm.
And then Venus and Mercury will re-enter Pisces. So we have big Pisces and Aries energy. So as archetypes, a lot of endings. So we can go through kind of like you said, you were crying and they're fighting and crying.
And
Oh my
then
God,
and then poop.
Aries and Pisces.
And then shit. There was shit on the wall, guys. I'm crying. It's my mom's death anniversary today, and my son, I almost said my husband. My child, not my husband, my son got up and somehow flung shit all over the floor and walls, and I was like, that's fantastic. All
It's
right.
been a bit like that. So that's kind of like these are very kind of pure representations. Pisces is crying, shit everywhere. Aries fighting.
Yeah.
So we are moving through this a bit. We are humans. We will experience these energies.
Mhm.
So the Venus, and as a general kind of overarching energies, there will be timeline shifts for a lot of awakenings because these very also, by the way, we are in a completely Pisces new moon. How can I
Mm.
miss that? I was writing my all morning and then I was like, oh, that's done. That's energetically, that's we are in a Pisces new moon. So with all of that, there's just Pisces energy everywhere. We are floating. So the biggest lesson from Pisces is letting go, surrender, flow. We are learning to trust.
Mm.
This is also we are shifting. You can take this as when I say shifting timelines, Pisces new moon is where we can dream big, imagine this new reality. It's becoming so realistic for a lot of us. When before it was more like a dream state, like something we remember from past lives, from wherever we come from.
Mm.
It's becoming more real. And we are meant to and called to dream bigger, dream. Pisces is also another keyword for Pisces, dream, but not in a sense only sit and dream and do nothing, dream, then do something. Which
Oh,
is
yeah.
Aries energy coming in, is that initiation. Also, Neptune going from 29th in the end. So Neptune moves into Aries at the end of the month. And Sun and Mercury will move over that degree on a retrograde as well. So there is a big initiation into a new earth, new human, new ways of thinking, new frequencies, new timelines. And that's what we have been feeling over the last few weeks. Also, there's a specific word, fractals from the solar system, how much light is being fused into us. And all of that is awakening the DNA parts, and all of that stuff is happening as well.
Ooh.
Um,
Also with
hmm?
all the dream stuff, like what a perfect time for me to be launching Daydream, a business school for women. Like I just realized I'm launching it in Pisces season.
What day? Let's talk about it a little bit more. Share.
Well, technically, I have a master class next week, and I'm hoping to have the sales page done so I can share that at the end of it. But I have so much more work to do with it that even this morning I was sitting there like, and I keep getting bumped from like finishing it or completing it. So there's like I'm always as entrepreneurs, I feel like we're always on the line of like, am I listening to divine spirit telling me like now isn't the right time to get behind this project, or my body as a generator, using my body as that meter to be like, is this something that's really
Yeah.
good for me to work on right now? Because when the inspiration strikes, when it comes, I can just be like, you know what I mean? Like, and get that shit done. And also being like, oh, is it not the time? But there's so much back end work that you have to do. And that's what I help my clients with. Like, I am deep in client avatar research right now. I am so deep in like my method and this process. Like, it's such an intense process to birth these projects out of
Yeah.
us. And I'm in it. I'm in that like, I feel like I'm probably at the fullness of pregnancy with it
Yeah.
before you start entering into the birth portal, but I'll be closing the doors to it for the spring equinox, right? So it's like I'm going to have it be enrollment periods during each of the high holy days of the wheel of the year, meaning I'm only going to
Mhm.
open up the school spring equinox, summer solstice, fall equinox, winter solstice. That's it.
I
You
love
get
that.
right?
The
Like you get in those
cycles.
times and the door fucking shuts. And like you either
Yeah.
come in and you will learn after a few cycles that I'm not joking, you know? And it just gives me the time and space to like step away from it and focus on everyone that's in there, right? And not have to
Yeah.
constantly be pitching it every 5 seconds. So, but what I made the decision to do this and to shift all my work to this in Aquarius season, which is actually so great for me. I've never really had my creations come out with those birthdays. And anyone that's hearing that, like, oh, your business has a birthday. It does. It
Yeah.
does. Like the idea dropped in at a certain time and you decided to action forward it and then you get it out. So for me, it definitely was like, of course, this is an Aquarian thing. A
Yeah.
business school for women, from soul to strategy, right? From day job to daydream. Get your ideas out there and make some money, baby. Let's fucking go. Like that's the point of the school. But
Yeah.
I'm launching it technically in the Pisces time. And it's called Daydream. Like, yeah, this is
That's
it's
it's beautifully aligned.
yeah.
And yes. So yeah, just see how everything feels. So astrologically, Venus will go retrograde, then and there can be a period, and Mercury goes retrograde in the middle of the March. So there can be kind of a readjustment, but that can happen after launch as well. You can
Uh-huh.
always, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be because
When does that go in? When does Mercury go
so
retrograde?
Venus goes
Oh,
retrograde
Venus.
for 40 days tomorrow.
Gotcha.
Mercury goes retrograde on 15th of March, and
Okay.
retrogrades will overlap. This
Hmm.
is where we go a little bit more inward. But because there's Aries energy, there's also there's an inward process, but it doesn't mean that the world has to stop or launches have to stop.
Hmm.
But see how you just sit maybe with how it feels.
Now I know I will definitely be getting out before March 15th. You know what I mean? Hearing that,
I
I'm
would
like,
say
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And
Before Mercury goes retrograde, yes.
also I love a retrograde. I've really learned to like
I
love
know.
them,
I know you do.
right?
Yeah.
I'm like okay with it. I don't know why, but I'm okay with it.
I'm like in a bigger sense, I'm very okay with retrogrades. They are initiations into a
Yes.
deeper
Yes.
inner work and understanding what we truly really want, as in for Aries, for Venus in Aries, and then she will retrograde into Pisces
Mm,
on 27th of March.
mm,
Uh, this is Aries energy is reassessment of self-love, self-worth. So there is a lot we've been feeling there's a fighting spirit. It's Aries energy. Venus has been in Aries for
mm,
a little while. For a little while. So and then the retrograde period we go deeper. What do we value? How there's a more deeper initiation into ourselves, into our identity, into how we stand in our power, all of that. And then Mercury will retrace those steps.
mm.
And then they will also go over they have gone over the initiatory degree of Aries, which is that when Neptune's going to move in the end of the month. So there's a huge initiation for humanity in the end of the month. But there's also a reassessment meanwhile with the both retrogrades. And they're big teachers, so it's like we are not always moving forward. It's so relaxing when you say it's so relaxing to just sit back and it's like, okay, what do I have to readjust?
Mhm,
What do I have to let go? What do I have to clean out energetically and physically?
mhm.
And
Ooh,
the Aries Pisces themes will be around self-esteem, self-worth, and then dreams, building dreams. Pisces is more about healing and letting go. That period, that thing. So there's so many. So energetically, what I feel there is such big energies overlapping. So for the first part of the month, there's this Aries, yeah, Aries and Pisces, and then second it moves more into Aries. And yes,
I feel that letting go so much. It's also like with the astrological wheel ending, a lot of people forget that this is a big time of letting go and releasing, you know?
yeah,
And like I was just saying, I did that yesterday where I was like, I was like cleaning out my business because I'm about to launch this thing. So I'm like letting go of things, letting go of other ideas, letting go of like, you know,
yeah,
even like all of last year, I did a podcast episode myself a few days ago where I was like, I remember I was doing the Soul Purpose Studio, and that was
mhm,
like my big launch. I worked on it for like
yeah,
5 months, like 5 months building out 25 weeks of curriculum, half design sales page. Like, guys, this is like hundreds of hours. Like, I put in hundreds of hours of work. And, but what I had to do was I had to get on that track. I had to go with that idea. I had to go with that thing but to get to the end of the year and be like, this isn't the thing. It's still not big enough. That's just another program when really the fucking a business school was trying to come through me. Right. So I'm like, I'm not counting any of that as wasted time because it got me to this awareness. It got me to the realization. It got me to the business school. And,
absolutely,
you
yeah.
know, so
I
I'm
know
like,
exactly what you mean.
but I'm like, fuck the Capricorn in me. I was like, that was like a year of work. But it all worked out. Like it all worked out, but I'm not using that sales page or that curriculum or that da, 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 da. You know what I mean? So it's like, let it go. Gotta
Yes.
let it go and realize like it's folded into the business school. And it got me to where I needed to be to accept part of the process to get to where I needed to be to accept it.
Yes, and also to get you to the place where you are now, when there's more clarity, when you couldn't have been in this place without all the work, all the back end work, nothing ever goes in vain when
Right.
there's an intention behind it and you're doing something. And your work is very soul led. Like that's like just your energy. So everything you do always,
Mm,
even though it doesn't translate into literally to, oh, it's going to become what it initially was. Usually our projects just mold
hmm
and just kind of go into something else by
hmm
the end of it. And that's very much how entrepreneurship works. And I think
Right.
it's beautiful. It's really creative. It's like Pisces energy is really creative. You,
Mhm.
by the way, have all the planets in your chart going through the fourth house. Don't know why this is coming up. Anyways, I just remembered your chart.
I love hearing this. You mean all the planets, all the Piscean planets
Pisces,
that are
like, yeah,
right
not
now are
in your
going through
fourth
my
house.
fourth?
Yes, so this is maybe also so so how I see, especially Neptune there. So this is a lot of karmic clearing, lineage
Mm,
clearing. We might be sometime, you might be crying out of nowhere, but so such a
yeah.
ancient feelings are coming up
Mhm.
to be healed, to be released. Maybe there's a lot of also activations of something that's like ancient gifts or ancient. As soon as more as we release, the more we heal, the more we cry, the more we have shit everywhere and
Mhm.
clean it up. The more we allow space for something, the old. So this Aries energy is an activation of something that's so for some of us this will make sense, something that we have done lifetimes before,
Mhm.
another level of what we can access within ourselves, wisdom or anything. So this is a very beautiful time to be very open, also
Mhm.
to have silence when it's when we're not crying and fighting and shitting.
Mhm. This
I can't
is
get
so
over it.
good.
It's good to be in silence. I haven't, like, this week hasn't been, because also I have told you this before. We have all planets direct, which hasn't been for a while, for the last.
Right.
So everyone can be a little bit on the edge. Oh my God, this is what it feels like when the energy is.
Right.
We have been wanting to do everything possibly. I did. The whole week was I want to just do things.
Right.
But tomorrow Venus goes retrograde. So it's again, there's a part of us. This is a part of us
Mhm.
that will start in the internal process.
Oh, it's all so crazy. Like literally when Mars went direct the other day, right? Didn't Mars go direct like on Monday or something?
23rd of 23rd of February.
So I literally, it was like, I was like, yep, that went direct. Literally almost watched 5 accidents happen. It was like that and people were fighting in the cars and honking. I'm like, it's comical. I mean, there's nothing funny about a crash, but it is comical. Anyone driving and getting into one of those accidents would have been like, they don't believe in astrology. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you are verbatim acting it out right now. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
was like that aggression just went boom and turned back on. I was like, yeah, yeah, Mars is direct. No, it's just crazy how you can feel it in the smallest ways, you
In
know?
the very obvious little everyday things,
Yeah.
that's how beautiful is also observed. Yes, for example, I use astrology for deeper healing work, for karmic imprints, for activating gifts, all of that deep work. That's why people come to me.
Hmm.
But to observe it also on a different level. But
Yeah.
crying and fighting are also all spiritual things. They are, So
Right.
Pisces also teaches that we are not only with so many planets in Pisces, we are in between the worlds. This is liminal space. This is between, we can sense other realms. We are more fluid,
Hmm.
though some of us more who are sensitive. So there's this one thing is we can be a little bit more sensitive to everything, but also we can access wisdom and downloads or becoming more desensitive to what's happening, also becoming a little bit more clear.
Hmm.
Depends, Aries and Pisces, so it depends.
Also, another thing with that, like for any business woman listening to this and men, I know we have some men who listen. Anyone who's like in their own business, when you hear this, like you start to pay attention to patterns. After you've done this
Yes.
for a long time, you start to really get clear about patterns. And what I know is what I see in myself, and I have certain people in my life who they are great examples of this pattern, is like before something big happens, everything goes to shit. Or something very big happens. Or it's like, and it's just like this is like I know as I'm like crying, it's my mom's death anniversary, I'm fighting over here about this, I'm dealing with the kids stuff, like things are, I'm sick, I got like sick again after being sick for all, and I don't even like to say the S word, lol. I'm like I'm bleeding, I'm like tired, I'm sleeping, I'm like just let it be, just stop, like stop
Yes.
fighting this, like
Yes.
just let it be, because this means in about a week's time, I'm gonna be on fucking fire. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And that's like
Yes.
the and those ranges don't I don't want I don't I want to give this asterisk because I don't want people to be like, I'm gonna be fine next week. Jayme Great said I'm gonna be fine in a week. No, no, no. You can go through these over months. You can go through these phases over years. And I know you agree with that. Like you can be in one of these phases for a while. I'm just saying this was like a quick one for me. This always happens to me before I launch. It's a pattern.
Yeah.
I have a really good set of friends where this, before they're about to launch something big, they have something almost catastrophic happen. And why? Why does this happen? Do we have bad karma? No, it's an
No.
initiation period. They're
Yes.
fucking initiations. And you gotta walk through the ring of fire before you can take on the next level. Hands down. It's not gonna be handed to you. You gotta earn it and you gotta go through it.
Yeah.
And that's how
I
that.
love it. That's beautifully said every time. And these, when you talk about cycles, they can be few days cycles, few weeks, few months, few years, few decades. They are all always this. We are living a cyclical universe, so it's always going to be. We are going through some type of cycle, and it's true when there is something really deep and kind of, especially when we are in kind of have the intention to move to the next level. We want that. We will be presented like you said, we earn it, but it's not necessarily like going, you know, with the physical work we earn it, meaning energetically we need to align to that new version.
Mm.
And that will mean not fixing things, but aligning things, releasing things, accepting a lot of forgiveness, all alchemy, all of those things. So crying and fighting and shitting, that is going to be the subject of the
I was just gonna say, should that be the title of this episode?
this is the title of this episode. Anyway,
Oh, this is so
so
good.
the other big thing that's happening, on top of everything, we are going to have eclipse season, which is always a pivotal moment,
Oh yeah,
releasing,
baby.
illuminating what is ready to be purified on a cellular level. There's a lot of DNA, cellular level, all of this very, very deep, because Neptune, if we understand how deep Neptune goes, it's not a Mercury and Venus is our personal planets. When it's Neptune, is collective unconscious. All of that energy is being shifted, released. There is a lot of that Earth is releasing. There's a lot of our universe is releasing as it is.
Mm.
Okay, that's old. Um, so Virgo is going to be the Virgo. So we are starting 2 years of Virgo Pisces eclipse seasons, because that's where the South Node and North Node is. And then in the end of the month, we have last Aries eclipse. So that's kind of, they overlap sometimes because we went through 18 months of when we had North Node in Aries and South Node in Libra. So in the end of the cycles, they overlap. But so eclipse, how do you remember? Do you have any kind of memory of just an over the energy, how you feel in eclipse? I think there are also certain level of initiation. There's a purification. There's kind of this like, whew, there's a very alchemical, juicy energy, I feel, depending also on
Mm.
the signs, I guess. But
Yeah.
Virgo, yeah,
I feel like sometimes I feel like it can go either way. Sometimes I'm like, this eclipse is huge.
yeah.
Wow, I feel this. Like I was watching a replay of like one of my clips that I had, and I was talking about the eclipse that was happening, and of course it was like, this was so big, right? And then sometimes I'll be like, eh, eh, I don't really feel this one. Or like, you know what I mean? Like it can, I think it's like either or for me. It's either massively affecting me,
Yeah.
or I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm fine. Or we're good. Or I don't feel it.
This will also be very, very depending on your personal chart. If it's affecting your moon, your sun,
Right.
personal planet, you will go through, like it's a portal you go through. There's things happening to you. There's things that need to be released, illuminated. So with Virgo, for those of you who have Virgo in your chart, it's a sign of refinement for daily habits, routines, and physical well-being, also being in service. All of these things. The shadow of Virgo, where we have the South Node for the collective now, it's overthinking, perfectionism, be overthinking, hypochondriac, all of these things that
Mm.
is too judgmental towards the self and the world. So these are all things that we are releasing. So this um the around the 13th 14th of March, this is a full moon Virgo lunar eclipse in 23 degrees, almost 24 of Virgo. So you have planets near that degree. This is going to be more intense for you.
Mm.
And eclipses always bring on different levels, clarity around like what no longer serves. So in Virgo's case, this will be body, our habits, how we live our everyday life, what's not working, what's working, what we need to release in order for us to be more healthy. This is also talking about this is mental habits, and you are just finishing up your detox.
Yes.
That this is really interesting. So the
Mm.
Virgo lunar eclipse will be illuminating all of the negative mental habits, which is, I think, great. So I don't know if you have replays of that, but I'm
Oh, that's
just
perfect. So, yeah, last night I was like, it just felt so good to cross over the threshold of completing these big projects. Really, any project. Really,
yeah,
anyone out there hearing this, you know, that completion energy of like,
yeah,
I did this. And this was really big. This distraction detox turned into a start off as a distraction detox, and it turned into like 28 of Jayme's top tools for transformation is what it turned into. And it
yeah,
became so potent and so powerful. And my word of the year was potent. So like what the fuck was I expecting when you set off your year like that? But I really want to step into like showcasing the potency of my work, right?
yeah.
And I've been doing that, like the distraction detox is that. It's now so important. I've pulled it from everywhere so no one can get it. The only way to get it is to join the business school, and it's a mandatory first course for everyone that joins. It's that good
Love
because
that.
it's like, don't come into my school constipated with information and ideas and thinking shit's gonna fucking change. You know what I mean? Don't think like adding more of my shit onto your packed on shit is going to help you magically make $1 million. We need to detox. We need to clear it all out. And we go high low, we go up down, we do all those things. So, what a perfect thing. And it's just emailed.
Yeah,
No one has to watch anything. No one has to listen to
yeah.
anything. It's just a new email every day. So you can take your time with it as you're kicking off what other course, because I will personally be connecting to every person coming in the business school, which is like that guidance counselor, teacher, student relationship. You answer your orientation questions. I see where you're at. And then I say, I think the best would be for you to go off and do this. How do you feel about that? And we start to
Yeah.
just create your own personal path. It's called a choose your own adventure business school, right? Because it's like we're all I'm not here to help people fit everyone in one box. Like this is not a this pathway, you have to do this strict curriculum. It's like, no, what do you need? What do you in your business need first? And then you get me as your guide with the plan. And we build out your own specific plan.
I love this because connecting this to your chart, I was looking, Vesta, which is this spiritual flame, spiritual fire of our path, is moving. It's going to be conjunct. It has been conjunct. It's going to do retrograde over your ascendant and the first house. And your voice is coming, and it's in
Wow.
Scorpio.
Wow.
So your voice is becoming more like there's a magic in Scorpio and Vesta combined. There's so it's magnetic, it's powerful, it doesn't like bullshit. It's just this, and there's like it's a priestess energy, but also
Mhm.
dark feminine. It's like no more bullshit.
Yes.
So I that when you were also looking at your the energy you're putting out there is like okay that's and I looked at your chart, it's like yes 100% that's like your Vesta is activating your identity and who
Ooh.
you are. So like the magnetism is like and it's connected to your our sacred power, sacred fire of our path, our soul purpose. So I think that's
Oh.
beautiful.
Guys, if you're hearing this and you haven't set up your fucking chart reading with her yet, what are you waiting for? Look at what this is just us talking. Look what just falls out of her while we're just talking on a podcast episode. Like, yes, yes, this is why I
Yes.
love you. You
Yeah,
you lay my
I'm
chart on me.
I will. And I love how every time it's because we our energies is very connected. And I by the way, another side note, when we talk about avatars, customer avatars, because I'm in your container, the most wonderful person just came in like 2 days ago. Came in is like, how did you came in? And this is just an example also for people. I'm working with Jayme, she's working with me. So we've talked about the customer avatar, right? And I told you I want people who are ready for my wisdom, my medicine, who are on the journey of self-discovery, transformation. They need support. And she was a 75-year-old psychotherapist with a degree in divination. And she came
Wow.
in and absolutely loved the session. She said, I'm so impressed. You give so much. And then she signed up for my container to work with me every month. And
Yes.
I said, yes, universe. So incredibly grateful. And then I thought of you as like, yes, we did. You'd put me, and you gave me this question in our personal session, and I sat down and I talked it out immediately because it's quite clear what I want. I want someone to be ready. I don't want to over explain or
Mm.
someone that's okay. I don't understand because my work is deep. There's
Mhm.
karmic imprints, there's spirituality, all of that. Someone who is courageous enough to walk their path. That would be
Mhm.
kind of a description of my avatar.
Ah, yeah, baby. Oof.
So,
Write that down.
just a little side note of what Jamie is teaching, how powerful it is when there's like, so what you give me is is clarity. And that is for me, so I need like the little bits and pieces to put everything together.
And because we've been behind the scenes of my mastermind right now doing client avatar research. And it like were you on the other call the other day? Not this one, but last week's where it's like we literally break down two or three of those questions over 2 hours by the time we're hearing from all the women in there. Because
Yeah,
it's so deep. It's like a lot of people go, oh, client avatar research, oh, client customer research. But damn, when you get into it, it gets
yeah,
deep. And those questions are so good, right?
yeah,
Like even you realizing like that's the type of person when I say who would be the perfect person, and then what would it be like to have a roster
yes.
full of those people? And you're like, oh, like you can feel it in your body.
Exactly. And that is really powerful. This is not just someone on a paper, you write it. When we work in the containers with you, and that's why it's so powerful. My whole business, everything is changing and shifting. By the way, the money book you recommended yesterday, I was like, this is the best money book ever. It's already changing in my life.
Right.
Like, how powerful is this work? How powerful is what we're doing? Like,
Right.
I'm not gonna be so, what's the word? I am really humble, but I'm also so proud of us and so inspired by all of us, like working together and how much we are helping. Like seeing the change that are happening with the women in your container and with myself. There is such an energetic laying work that's happening that I haven't. It's not often that it's so truthful, so aligned, so in integrity. So. I don't know how we're getting this, but I have thought about this over the last few days, and it's like this is so powerful. Yeah, simple but powerful.
Thank you. Mm.
Okay, what's next? So I have notes, but also my brain when so much Pisces energy is just like do everywhere. So, anyways, the main thing I do wanna talk about Neptune, but also so sorry, just.
No, take your time.
So, and then let's talk a little bit about the Aries season, a little bit. So we're moving
Mm.
more out. So the first half of the month is more Pisces energy. And then there's Virgo because of Virgo new moon full moon lunar eclipse. So there's Virgo Pisces. So there's healing, there's letting go of the shadow of the Virgo, overthinking, procrastinating, flowing we're moving from overthinking towards trusting life, flowing with life, trusting that it sounds cliche, but all of these things that we see, like quotes on Instagram, trust life, know that you're divinely guided. But when
Right.
you embody,
Mm.
people don't understand. Often people don't grasp. Okay, there's a square on the Instagram that says that, but it's a completely different reality when you live it.
Right.
When you actually trust life, when you
Right.
know that there's divine timing, when you know that on a soul level, that is a completely different life than you just read it and go on with your life and think like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm spiritual now. Those are completely different things. And when people start living these small, like they seem small, they change, like the life is changed, because living in trust of life, in spirit, in something bigger, in yourself coherently, you also start to trust yourself more. It's what Pisces teaches us, that there's like, we are held, we are trusted. So it kind of takes away a lot of fear and worry and all of that. And we have been programmed into fear and slavery and all of those things. Slavery in different kind of levels. There's slavery
Yeah.
until today, which
Yeah.
is, it's not so obvious as in the old times. So Pisces is literally teaching us to integrate ourselves within the divine grid work,
Hmm.
or however you want to call it. I'm just taking words out
Oh,
of
this is great.
ether.
Also, like when you're saying like from the Instagram quotes, right? To like divinely guided and like trust the path, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
how does that show up? The reality of that is like, leave this relationship now,
Yes.
right? Quit
Don't
that
know what's
job.
going to happen.
Yeah, quit that job. You can't be here anymore. Like, what? Right? Pick up and move across the country. What?
Yeah.
You're put down the pipe. Stop doing those drugs now. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
you're gonna go do this. And it's like, what? This divinely guided shit is not easy. It can be. It can be. I think, you know what do you think is easy about it? I think what's easy about it is when you've done it so much that it becomes a muscle memory.
Yes, exactly
Clapping.
that.
She's clapping right now. Yeah. Like, what's the
Because,
easy
yeah,
part? It's never easy to deal with death. It's never easy to deal with loss. It's never easy to deal with trauma or drama or your fucking emotions, bro. Right? Like, that's not easy. What's easy is that you just are like, you get used to doing it.
I know. I like when you use bro. I know, bro. Like, so sorry. Go on, go
No,
on.
no, that's it. It's
Ah,
not fucking
okay.
easy. Like the divinely led shit. It's
But
so hard.
this never, it comes. So what I did, I trusted this inner voice, because for me, I didn't trust the outer reality. It was sad, it was a little bit toxic from looking
Mhm.
back. There was love there, but there was people that didn't know how to love me, and I couldn't trust the
Mhm.
world around me. So I started to trust this. I was always very connected, and there's always something that was like, and I did move across the country. I went to Japan just suddenly in 2 days. Moved to
Mm.
Portugal with no, it's like, oh, did you come for because you met someone? No, it's because it felt like home. It's like
Mm.
people never understand. I can never truly, if I don't sit down, and they need to be a certain type of person that really kind of vibes the same frequency. People don't usually understand the way I make my decisions. It's a
Mm.
feeling I get in my body, and I do it.
Mm.
In the universe, then there's people, and the way I remember now, when I was younger, I was so incredibly trusting. I just went across the world with no plan, and I was like, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
But it was fine until there was other lessons that came through that I needed to really embody and go through, and that's another story. But the trust in the divine, in spirit, however you want to call it, it's all the same energy: God, love, spirit, universe, divine. That every all the traumas and the challenges and addictions or loss or grief or betrayal, they have led me closer and more deeper into that faith and
Mm.
trust.
Mhm.
For a moment, it can shake out, like if the rug is pulled out of your feet.
Mhm.
Yes, you'll be like, well, it's easy to get into the victim, and we it's okay because we're human. But then if you really open up your heart and your soul, and you're just like, I give up, in a sense, this is not giving up, this is surrender. If you surrender yourself and your life, or what you're doing, or your pain, or thinking, I can't go on like this, why am I here, all of these things, a lot of people will go through this, through awakening through these kind of deep emotions, and questioning, why are we here, why am I
Mm.
here?
Mm.
Then you surrender. And that it's the most beautiful and one of the most difficult things to really lean into,
Mm.
because it's like losing control, but you actually put control into bigger hands, and then trusting that those hands will hold you and guide you.
Woo!
Okay, this was that one message that I was doing the prayer as always before. It's like, okay, I feel this is the one that came through for whoever needs to hear in any kind of time they connect. This is for you. Also, we should state in the beginning that these reports are kind of timed, pointed in time, but they are timeless.
They are.
They are really timeless.
You know, people still listen to our Dark Night of the Soul one, the original one we did. It's the second most listened to podcast out of all 52 episodes.
And it will be still, I think, because that's what will keep happening. The awakening will trigger the dark night of soul. They are intrinsically together, and then then the journey starts.
Mm-hmm. It's so funny that you're saying that. I was just on our Tuesday call. Lisa was on there with me, helping me. I was showing her the behind the scenes of the school, and I was like, I'm coming out with, like I always teach about like spirituality and business, but I'm coming out with like a very simple triangle method of like understanding where you are in the spirituality of business, doing like YouTube videos on it. And I like help people with soul purpose. Soul purpose is like, you got to start there. Like you can't, spirituality and business is like, what are you here for? Right? You can't try to like master anything else until you're like aligned with your soul purpose. That's great. That could take you years, like literally years or decades.
Or you can come to me and I'll help you as well.
Or you could, exactly, right? You help with it, I help with it. This is what you and I like come to. But that is like an initiation in itself, right?
Yes.
Then the next stage in spirituality and business is sharing your heart's work with the world. Right? That's the fucking hard, but that's you're putting yourself out there, sharing your work, showing the world, maybe your community, your photo, whatever, and then making money for it. Like we know what that feels like. That's a whole initiation itself. And then the third level I help people with is the integrating their soul with their shadow. That's what I help like millionaire.
I love this. Oh my God. I was like, oh my God, no, it's so powerful. Like I love everything about alchemy and shadow. Go on.
Yeah, like, and that to me, the soul is the light. Like, let's just say real quickly, the soul is the light, right? But then your shadow are your gifts. And people always want to get rid of the shadow, right? She's like clapping over there. She's so excited. Like that. So that's like, I help a lot of millionaire clients with that. I help a lot of scaling clients. I help a lot of people who are like trying to take their business to the next level. It's like, well, we need to integrate these two things, not try to like get rid of one or the other, or like they're not even aware of either of those things. And then so I was telling, as I'm honing in on this work, my scope has gotten even bigger. And thank God Lisa Pisces on there was like helping me with this. And I was like, Lisa, it's because I'm like, I've realized there's a whole other like the infinity aspect to this, the Ouroboros, right? The Ouroboros energy, the snake eating its tail. For me is what sparks the fucking soul purpose? And at the same time, her and I both went, a dark night of the soul. And I was just like, I'm being guided to by this summer, creating a healing process. Like, how in the soul work that I do, the spiritual, the business work I do, I help people with the manifestation current, bringing ideas down the pipeline onto the planet.
Yeah.
The liberation current is the opposite. It's releasing energy out of your body and off the planet. It's going from the depths of within out. I'm creating an entire healing journey called Liberate, probably by this summer, using like the Cancerian healing waters of the summer to come out with and liberate. Because it's like, that's the other fucking angle. That's the other side of the coin of like, we need to clear out these energy centers.
Yeah.
And the wounds and the patterns and the trauma, right? All that. Not an easy feat. This will not be easy. This is going to rock my fucking world. But you know what I mean? Like this is where I say to people, do what you're being called to do. Because guess what, honey? There's another project right behind it. Okay? Right? This is like, I've done 10 years of this. Now I'm also seeing a new doorway opening where it's like, okay, now let's go even deeper with the dark night of the soul. I talk about this a lot. You and I talk about this a lot. We can help. Not that anyone can help you through that, because like that's your shit to do. But that spark of like when you're out of it and you're realizing like, oh, I'm awakening right now. That's where you and I step in.
Exactly. That's literally when people are ready for there's something coming. They can feel it. The old reality is dying. They either try to hold on, but they also, the soul, they get the inkling there's something new coming. But for the ego, it's a death, and literally it will feel like a death. And then it is really, I think it's so beautiful if we can find a guide or a few people or a community that can help us.
Yeah.
And understanding really, truly, this is a really kind of quite expansive conversation. We can even do like a master class together on
Yes.
all alchemy, initiation in your purpose. Oh my God, I'm
Oh,
gonna write this down. I
you
think we
write
should do
that
it.
down. It's
We should
so
do it.
funny that you're saying
This,
this when, because I was like, this, I wanted to tell you, I was like, Ineza, this is our most listened to episode. I'm like, there's something here. That's why I was going to talk to you about it like on our next call. And here you are saying it. Yeah. Like people are coming to us for this information. It keeps being researched. Yeah.
yeah. So let's talk it more out. But it's I have been, a lot of these pieces have been coming together for me. The alchemy, shadow work, dark night of soul, and then the art of receiving, the art of surrender. They all, there's like this way, this kind of arc of, and we can, I think we can be so, and so much awakening, it will be hit a lot of people across the planet. And awakening often can feel like psychosis and you're going mad. And I would love more people to understand they are not going crazy, they are not losing their mind. It's they're losing the old belief system and the programming. And because the earth wants us to awaken, she's going to shake us up. It's not going to be slow and soft. It's going to be quite brutal sometimes, as it has been for people that have been, there's smaller waves that went before, like 2012, and then before, and then now more like bigger waves of humans are like, whew. So we need humanity. We've been talking about this for months. People will need support. People already need a lot of support. So I think the more whoever is listening and want to come and participate, work with Jayme, work with me, work together, reach out to us. Like let's create a community out of this as well.
Oh,
So,
I love this. Well, we really went around the town on this call.
well,
Woo!
can we still talk about a little bit about
Yeah, sure.
Neptune?
Go for it.
Aries?
Go for it.
You have
Yeah, go for
time?
it. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So Neptune is changing signs and going from Pisces and the last degree. So we have actually, we are on 28th of February. So we have about 30 days. Yeah, about 30 days. Yeah. Well, the whole of March to really let go, clear out, cry all the tears, forgive. One important thing that I've come to realize, forgiveness, it's such a liberating experience. Like not forgive to justify, to forgive to set yourself free.
Yeah.
So the last degree, so because Neptune um hasn't been in Aries in for 165 years, so that's how long it takes to go across the sun. So we are
Wow.
entering in, and in one sign it spends 14 years. So the last 14 years, if you look back, in Pisces, and Neptune's is at home in Pisces, so it's been dissolving boundaries between seen and unseen worlds. So we have seen over the last 14 years, spirituality has blossomed, overcome almost not overcome the world, but also in a way, yes. Um, so it's heightened spiritual awakenings, artistic expression, collective empathy, and but also disillusion, escapism, and blurring truths of fiction, and all these kind of mainstream media, kind of almost circus-like kind of thing. It's like, who?
Oh,
That
right.
is Pisces. That is
Yeah.
like that is cinema. We're just watching fake cinema. Like it's a very comical by this point, because it's the end of the cycle. It becomes comical to
Mm.
absurdity, how obvious it should be
Yeah.
that the truth is coming true.
Did you say 165 years?
So yes, the last time, so yeah, and I want to talk a little
So
about the history
eight,
as well. So the last time,
1860 was the last time.
1860 to 75, and then the world saw radical revolutions and spiritual awakenings around that time as well. There was American Civil
The
War.
Civil War.
Uh,
Yeah.
themes of freedom, spiritual sovereignty,
Yeah.
birth of new religious mystical movements, like theosophy, and also integrating Eastern Western spirituality. So when I said spirituality overcame, there was a huge surge of just everything spiritual, and some of it was very like just mainstream culturized, if that's a word. And but there's also true spirituality. We're waking up to that.
But like,
Also,
yeah, no, like, because I'm like a pseudo historian. Like, hold on, like these
okay,
times,
yes,
like, yo,
yes,
these times
yes,
were fucking like. I
okay,
want to give people a good example of this. Like, this was the era in Europe and the UK where mysticism was fucking hot. This was like Victorian. It was going from the like that Victorian era of like seance, mystery,
yes,
spirit. This is when they were pulling cadavers out of the fucking ground to look at the body, to look at organs. This was still illegal. They had grave robbers. People were paying for fresh dead fucking bodies so they could open them up and go, this is what's inside. Stop saying this isn't how this works. We're telling you on a science level, this is that fucking organ. This connects to this. This is what this is. And they were doing it behind the closed scenes. They were doing mysticism and seance
yeah,
and spiritual stuff behind closed scenes. This was big in newspaper. This was women were starting to like get more on being able to write, being able to work in places. They were actually starting to get jobs places. Like, oh God, I like, oh my God, this is, and then we have like freedom, emancipation, proclamation shit going on places. Like this was really a big fucking time. And it paved the way for the Industrial Revolution, which is what came next.
yeah. I am obsessed with history, but there's like I love listening to everything, especially connected to astrology and how it has played out. So thank you for that. More, please bring more of that. So that was the last time. So what Jayme said, that was the last time in Aries. So we are moving into this energy. So from just spiritual awakening, escapism, and all of the kind of Piscean energy, also very spiritual energy, we are moving now into more. So Neptune in Aries fuses mysticism with the warrior archetype. Aries is a warrior. It's also the first sign. So think about a new rebirth of spirituality. Also, we have looked a lot of us, not us particularly, but a lot of people have looked outside. In Pisces, there's a guru culture that is gonna dissipate quickly if there's no integrity. And we have seen it
Yeah.
kind of falling apart because people pretending to be spiritual, then leading people astray.
Yeah.
It has been quite horrific, actually, to some of the cases that I've read or seen.
Yeah.
Um, so now Aries is sovereign, it's a leader, it's good. The courage, the archetype of courage and embodying courage is going to be huge over this year. We're learning to be courageous and sovereign. Um, Also, so fuses mysticism and warrior archetype, calling for active participation in spiritual evolution rather than passive surrender, which Pisces can be. Oh, I want to escape. I don't know what's going on. Like, this is too much. Like, the world is happening to me. Life's happening to me. Iris is like, no more. No, this is, you are. Yesterday I was laying in bed and there's this book, Gods with Amnesia. And I was like, I
Mm.
felt it so much in my soul and in my cells. It was such a profound, yeah, I'm getting so goosebumps right now that I'm speaking. We are gods with amnesia.
Oof.
We are so, we don't know how much programming we carry. We have no clue. Actually, we have only starting to understand how we have been brainwashed, influenced, programmed for centuries, and there's layers to this, right?
I'm looking it up
But
because
we,
I'm.
yeah,
Is it? It's a. Do you know who it's by?
I will send you
Ah,
after.
okay.
It's in my it's there or
Okay.
here somewhere. I have the book. Yeah.
That
Um.
is that's Pisces. Like that's the Pisces pathway, right? From like
Yeah.
victim to mystic is what I call it. And
Yeah.
gods with amnesia is just so it.
And
Oh
also
my
the
God.
Aries is the fusing that Pisces with the warrior. So now it's no longer I'm the victim. We have been very much in victim reality for a long, long time. We are now understanding we hold power, we can be sovereign, we also have to be responsible for our power. So because with great power comes with great responsibility comes great power. We are learning that on a real actual reality basis. Also remember that people who come to and listen to this podcast probably are on that path. We also will probably see, not probably, quite certainly, a shift into people that are kind of aligned with more 3D that will not transition into this timeline.
Yeah. Yeah.
Call it two. And a lot of a big part of humanity will. So
Can I
those who
say
are,
something on that too? Because
yes.
a lot of people need to let this go. A lot of people are stuck on thinking that it's their responsibility to wake everyone up. And I think that's one of the delusions that we'll be overcoming over the next decade, is that not everyone's here to wake up. Not everyone is actually
Oh,
here to have consciousness. Consciousness is like a specific drink or drug. I'm going to give that 3D element of it, and not everyone can handle it. Like, not everyone can handle what
so
that is.
true. So those words, not everyone is ready to handle it. Not everyone is courageous and brave enough
Yeah.
for the truth.
And another truth is some people came here as a rest lifetime. For some people, this is a restful, peaceful lifetime. You might be
Yes,
like, who the fuck's restful and peaceful right now? Well, the person who has a comfortable job
people.
with comfortable benefits, and they go home with their comfortable fucking family and they watch Netflix and they shop at Target on the weekends. Leave them alone. They're not
Yes,
here to awaken. They just came out of death, war, loss, horrible shit happening to their spirit and soul, and they came here for a relaxing fucking lifetime. Leave
yes, comfort,
them alone.
rest. Yes, we are. There's different. Yes, I love that you said that because it is so true. We don't have to, also it's a spiritual ego when people are like, oh, those people don't deserve this. They like, or they have to awaken. No, no, you need to work on yourself. You have your own focus on that. Focus on your people, your mission, and let people be, especially people who are at peace living their lives, even they are in that space. I love that you said some people do. When we see people that are happy and having beautiful relationships and children, I love watching them.
Right.
They are not going through all of, they are going through everyday things like I don't know how to clean, like I'm learning to organize my house. How beautiful
Yeah.
it is. We have this group of people and I'm not saying people that are kind of know that they have to wake up but don't want to. These are people truly living out their best lives and
Right.
having material, and they are happy. And this is, I think, a beautiful part. Let's remember that, okay, this is also can be inspiring. You can fuse your spiritual journey then to arrive at that. I don't know what I'm trying to say. At
No, you're
some
saying it
point,
great.
I don't want to be fighting, and I'm not actually anymore. I used to be more of a fighter, but however, this archetype might awaken the fighter in us. But I am not here to fight all the time. I also want to live life, but live in purpose. But I don't really.
Can I say it's almost
It's
like not a fight? It's like I get the fighting, but what I'm taking it as is like not the fighter, but it's the fighter. It's not the fighting, it's the fighter. It's the one with the
it's the
sword,
warrior.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a warrior. I'm not here for the people who are here to have a peaceful lifetime. LOL, right? I'm not here for them. I am here for the people who know they came here with a fucking mission. I'm
Yes.
like, here's the sword, here's the pathway, let's go, baby. Or here's the spark, here's that flame, here's that fire, here's that recognition,
Yeah.
here's that remembrance that you're here for that too. I am here for those people who know they've
Yeah.
got something inside of that, and that's you too, right? You're here for the,
Yes.
we're like here for some deep shit, man. And that's the fighter, right? We don't have to fight anymore. We're leading.
Yes, I completely agree because that warrior side of me, I actually don't think I could be truly just I came here for a mission, same as you. I want to inspire. I want to do what I do. And sometimes it is going against the grain or being very different or leading others or speaking about things that, people will judge or whatever it is. That's the warrior archetype I see is you lead the way, and often leaders of the time, however big or small, they will. There's going to be a backlash. There's going to be
Right, right.
Okay.
It's this, I feel like this episode literally went from Pisces to Aries real quick. Like
Yes. And
in an hour. Like how we literally got on here and like, ooh, wishy-washy. And now we're both just screaming and spitting, or at least I am. Oh my God.
Yes, no, but that's exactly the energy of the March. And also moving into the Aries, and we will have the equinox. And so actually the year, astrological year, the beginning of a new year will start on 20th of March. So truly, if you have been needing rest and you have been needing, like you've been in a hermit mode, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
The Aries energy is coming. You're going to be up whether you want it or not. You're going to be running around doing things.
Yeah.
Okay, I think so. The one thing, final questions for this cycle. So the invitation is taking ownership of your spiritual path, embodying this energy. So what are you willing to fight for spiritually, not physically fight for? Where do you need to step into your power rather than waiting for guidance? Aries energy will be Aries is very different from Pisces. So let's see how the energy changed like quite quickly. Aries is like, let's go do it. Let's do this. So I think it's exciting. We've been like the humanity has been in that space. It's like, oh, I don't know what to do. It's like, okay, I have the impulse. Let's go. So this period where spiritual warriors will rise, not through force, but not through force. This is, I think, important, but through courage, vision, and unwavering commitment to truth. Okay, so the March is month of completion, purification, preparation. Okay.
Ooh. Well, here we are.
I end it in like a note like that. That's how it
Yeah.
will. That's how it should be. It's like
Yep. I can't wait to see what I can't wait to see the keywords I'm gonna pull out of this call to title it.
Yeah.
Well, I need a nice coffee after this call, not gonna lie. I'm gonna go get myself a nice big fat iced coffee. What are you gonna
You
do,
gonna do
Ineza?
that? I'm gonna switch off for the rest of the week. It's been, I told you,
Yes.
I have been taking care of humans and life nonstop, and now it's time to take care of myself. So I'm switching
Yes.
until next week.
All right. Well,
So
you can find Ineza in the links below. You can find my stuff in the links below. We are here for you. Reach out to us. This is who we are. We really showcase you guys who we are and what we're here
yeah.
to do. So come and find us. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode, and we will see you next month. Bye.